This is the Bush Whisperer coming at you from the beautiful Penguin Sanctuary. Coming to talk to you about something that just happened to me now. And I thought it's very interesting. The lady who came to see if I was okay made a comment about how it applies to life, and I agreed with her. So here it is. I was walking across the restaurant floor outside on the deck where I get my son a chocolate pancake because he loves his chocolate pancakes. And I'm coming from within the gates of the Penguin Sanctuary, walking through the sanctuary to my home after taking my son for a chocolate pancake now, in case you wonder where I am. And the guy who does the cleaning had just mopped that floor. And the floor was wet, and it's a very, very smooth, tiled floor. And I walked across the smooth, tiled floor, and I'm wearing what we call chappal in India, or plakkies in South Africa, or little thonged shoes, which are open, obviously, just really a sole with thongs, and a very smooth rubber underside, no grips. And I slipped on this wet floor, and instantly, because of my martial arts training, and I did extensive martial arts training when I was young, instantly, instead of falling, I tucked and rolled. And because I tucked and rolled, there was absolutely no impact, no injury, no stress on any part of my body. My toe took a little bit of stress when I tucked and rolled, because I tucked very tight and rolled in the middle of the step. But there was no injury, not even a soreness or pain, just a slight twinge on my toe, the one edge of the toe when I tucked and rolled over that toe. So anyway, not thinking much of it, I tucked and rolled, got into the chair. Everybody was like, the guy was like, oh my gosh. I was like, no, I'm not hurt, I'm fine, totally fine. And I wasn't like hurt and pretending I was fine, I was literally fine. I can be a bit stoic sometimes, but this wasn't one of those moments. And so the lady came to me and she was like, are you okay? I was like, yes, of course I'm fine. She said, I saw you tuck and roll. That was an impressive tuck and roll. And so the bottom line is tuck and roll. Life can present obstacles. Life can be slippery at times. Life can give us a hard knock at times. Sometimes the carpet can be pulled out under our feet. Sometimes the situation can become troublesome, challenging. Sometimes we're about to fall. And when we're about to fall, what we need to learn to do is tuck and roll. And how does this apply to life? How does this apply to the path that we choose through life? For the ability to tuck and roll is fundamental to not getting hurt in situations. And there have been so many times in my life when I'm walking and I trip over something, or the floor's wet, or something happens. And being able to tuck and roll has really saved me from injuries so many times in my life I can't even count them. So metaphorically, being able to tuck and roll, that's the purpose of meditation. That's the purpose of being in a state of consciousness where one is deeply entrained with one's breathing and one's posture and one's state of mind, and centering oneself in a contemplative state of consciousness. And when one is grounded in such a way and centered, it's easy for one to be able to take the knocks, take the challenges of life, not to fall, but to tuck and roll. And tuck and roll is also fundamental to being able to accept things. The process of acceptance is the ability to tuck and roll. Knowing that sometimes life will throw you a curved ball. Sometimes life will put you on your back. But you have the choice to decide how you end up on your back. Do you end up on your back after banging yourself hard as you fall? Or did you tuck and roll and smoothly transition onto your back so that you don't feel any hurt? And this is what martial arts is all about. So Mars is the key to learning to tuck and roll. Mars is the fundamental process that we need to understand. And this has got to do with being very much rooted in the causality. Understanding causality is the ability to accept that causality is what it is, and that cause and effect are functions of this reality, and that there is no escaping the causality of choice. And so we can use choice as a wonderful navigation tool in order to choose the way in which we end up in the situations that we will end up in, because I believe that situations are beyond our control very often, most of the time. But we have the choice for how to adapt to the circumstances of life. We have the choice for what we're going to take from it emotionally, what we're going to take from it mentally. When life offers you a knock, do you feel hurt? Or do we take it like a duck takes water off its back? Do we act in a state of equanimity, the equanimity of which the Buddhists love to speak? And when one is able to operate from that perspective, in that state of consciousness, one is inherently ready for a tuck and roll experience. For whatever life gives to you, you'll be ready to face it. You'll be ready to take it. You'll be ready to absorb it, digest it, put it into perspective. And life will never put you on your back without you being able to choose how you end up on your back. And this is the key to the emotional conditioning factors. How life conditions us. How the ego imprints upon the persona. And what the persona is left with is fundamental to what we take from the experiences of life. So tuck and roll you could think of as a way to protect the persona from the ravages of the world, from circumstances that could cause us harm. Why is it that some people end up with bad circumstances happening in their lives and it breaks them and they become depressed, unhappy, despondent? Other people have bad circumstances that come into their lives and it empowers them, gives them a sense of purpose, and it gives their lives a sense of meaning, improving their lives, improving their state of being, bringing peace and happiness and joy and harmony into the sphere, rather than robbing them of their sense of personality and robbing them of their sense of happiness. And in this way, we have the absolute choice to choose what we take from life. And this is sort of the idea of learning to tuck and roll. If you're going to walk over slippery floors, make sure you can tuck and roll. And life is a series of slippery floors. And very often we don't know that the floors are slippery until we're on them. And this is a beautiful metaphor for life, the tuck and roll metaphor. So I'd like you to take that with you today. Consider, can you tuck and roll? Have you learned to be able to take life's knocks and turn them into something profound, be positive, that will actually become a source of strength? Or have you learned to take things personally and let them become a knock on the head so that you carry these wounds and scars around with you? Some people's bodies tend to heal well. They don't scar. My body's always healed really, really well. Never really got scars. My ex-wife was always jealous of how I would get wounds and they would just vanish very quickly. And I always put it down to the fact that I didn't hold on to the pain. I didn't hold on to resentment. I didn't hold on to these negative emotions. I just allowed them to flow through me. And that's sort of like what tuck and roll is. You don't hold on to your posture. You allow your posture to move and allow reality to flow through your posture in such a way that your posture doesn't take too much strain. And that's the psychological element of being able to accept. To accept, digest, absorb, enjoy, and learn from life. This is the Bush Whisperer coming at you from the beautiful Penguin Sanctuary. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. So much love. Keep it real. Om Shanti.